Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Coaching with Marco. Part of this show is also doing a series where I want to interview former and current coaches, former athletes in our community. I feel like over the years I've had such great conversations with people. I want to be able to highlight not just our kids, not myself as a coach, but a bunch of great coaches that we have in the community. Today we have newly named head coach of the Woodburn Girls Varsity team, Alyssa Ramirez Demilis Bulldog Woodburn Padilla San Jeronimo Chavez.
Good. How are you?
Good. As you can tell, this is new, but like I mentioned, I want to be able to highlight coaches. This is the first of many interviews, so let's go ahead and get this bad boy started, Alyssa. We've had this conversation about, like, I feel like anybody watching, whether it's a former athlete or coach, I feel like people are either going to be able to relate or they're going to be able to at least take something from this interview that they'll be able to take away that they probably didn't know, or something that they find interesting. You know how you got into soccer? How were you introduced to soccer?
Yeah, I think it started with my brother obviously playing. Like, he played club here in Woodburn for WAFC. My older cousin, who is also a female that I really looked up to, also part of the club, like just being introduced early on to like soccer games and the club here in town, and just like Woodburn pride, that's something that like I feel like runs deep in our community. Yeah, I started playing rec, and then my uncle's like cousin or something, but my cousin's dad, Wapeo, he wanted to start a team for our age group. And so it was like me, my cousin, her cousin, and then a bunch of other girls that did like Parks and Rec with us, taking high school a little more seriously and weren't from Woodburn, so stopped showing up to practice. And then I moved from Woodburn to Kaiser, where I had met some other like girls that I grew up kind of playing with. They're like, oh yeah, come over here. I was like, okay, bet. So I went over there, and it was pretty fun. And then COVID happened, so I thought I was done like after high school. And then my cousin's coach was coaching at Chemeketa. She just texted me and was like, hey, this is Noni, Miranda's coach, and we were wondering like if you're playing anywhere, or if you're going, like I heard you were going to Chemeketa, would you be interested in playing? And I was like, oh, like I can. She's like, yeah, like school would be paid for, and like just it's an easy way to get like your foot in the door from here. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, what do I do? She's like, oh, fill out a physical. She gave me all the paperwork, and she's like, we'd love to have you. I was like, when do I start? And then played a little bit of college, and then started coaching, and now I'm here.
And then what age, remind me again, that you started playing Parks Rec?
I was 4 or 5. I think I was 5.
Oh, okay, so you started young then, huh?
Yeah.
It was by Sister Club. What do you remember what year it was?
I was like 7 or 8.
7 or 8?
Yeah.
If you do remember the difference of play style or like competition level, or for you was it always just like, hey, this is soccer, this is what I love doing?
Yeah, I think for me it was like that's what I lived like how do I get how do I move forward, like what's the next step? Because I remember like always watching my cousin, right? She was like I always idolized her, like she was my role model. And I was like, you know, she did club and she had her team, and like they were doing all these things. And I remember my aunt always inviting us, and I was like, oh hell yeah, like I'm gonna support my cousin. She's so good, and she was really good. But I also remember like coming to high school games, and I was like, oh, she just plays for the school. They're like, yeah, she's on varsity. And I was like, oh, she's on varsity, I want to make varsity one day. And then I feel like that's what really like clicked for me. So like Parks and Rec, club, and then high school was like the next big goal. And then obviously I didn't think about college until it happened, but then that was the next big thing.
No, and it's funny también como like how people just by watching can be very inspired. I mean, I remember when I was younger, like about 8-7 years old, watching my brother and my sister play on the varsity field. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of kids in the community see their older siblings, and they get to that point like, man, I can't wait to play. You know what I mean? Obviously I didn't play, but I do remember that when I was younger. For people who don't know, the defensive player, huh?
Yeah.
Naturally, or did you get pushed down from different positions, or do you feel like that's something you just liked right away?
Well, I mean, I was like bigger, so like as a kid, so I was kind of, like, oh, like if you're not fast, like was a defense, and I'm like, okay. And I was like, yeah, my brother's a defender, like he's fast. I'm like, yeah, like I can stop people from like going to the goal, right?
And it's funny because, I mean, that you mentioned that, Alyssa, I feel like sometimes just little kids, they right away don't want to play defense. But I guess, for me, the way I see it, and obviously you actually played the sport, but I see it too is that you start as defense because sometimes I guess coaches don't know what to do with the players, so they put them in defense. But as you get older, you start seeing how crucial, important that piece is like you need solid defenders, and when you could tell a game changer in a defender right away as you get older. So I feel like for us, this is Pablito. Obviously, we see him, how crucial of a defender. We have great defenders, but that's one that I think about right away también. So
yeah, but I feel like I started off as like just lateral, right?
Yeah.
So I was just not there for the vibes, but I like definitely saw my brother as a defender, and I was like, I want to be like him, right? I got his number, and I was like so happy to wear, like obviously the club has to wear the same kind of jersey, so I was like, hell yeah, like I get like I see his big number 5, and then I see like my little jersey, and like I see myself in him, even though he's a guy. But I was like, dang.
No, and that's so relatable because there's so much muchachos, boys and girls in the community, they see their older sibling. And I mean, obviously I've been coaching for a minute, and I'll see little brother want the exact same number as big brother, but I think that's super cool. It's really cool to see. And awesome. Obviously, Alyssa, we've had this conversation several times. If you could please explain a little bit about that championship year that you guys won. Remind me, your junior year or sophomore year?
My junior year.
Junior year, and co-captain or just one captain?
Just one captain.
The captain of the one championship team here in Woodburn. And it's so cool, Alyssa. I tell you, this is before I even knew you. That video they posted on YouTube, I was like, man, that was a very good presentation. And the fact that obviously you being the boys and the girls team winning at the exact same time, now I'm sure it made big noise around the community, but what it meant here, like I think the person who recorded it captured everything amazing. But if you can give a little bit detail about that day, let's go championship day.
That day.
Yeah, like what is something that you looked forward to? Were you nervous the day before, or?
I just had a pretty good routine that started like early on, because my uncle, who was in the Marines, like believed in like mind over matter. Like he really built in like my mental toughness and discipline, and he, like anytime we had big games or big tournaments, he would show us like David Goggins videos and like super inspirational stuff that still like sticks with me today, right? And he would always tell us like your homework for tonight is visualizing all the good things that you're gonna do. He's like, don't hesitate, don't doubt yourself, just think about the good things, like what you're really good at. And then the other thing was like in Taekwondo, my instructor would always say, like, I would get really, really worked up for any time I was like promoting onto the next belt, and I would cry, and like I feel like I would fall apart. I was like, no, I'm not gonna pass, because I just like doubted myself so bad, and I talked to myself so bad. But he would always say like, hey, it's just a way for you to showcase everything that you've learned. And he was like, it's literally like not for us, it's for you, right? Like you get to show everyone else, see all these things that you've been working really hard at. Ding, ding, ding. Like he would, so before any promotions or big tournaments, he would say like, hey, like you got this, you're just showing off every great thing that you can do and that you're capable of. And I was like, yeah, like that's all I have to think about. And that's all I thought about. So night before the game was just visualizing all the good things. I think the first thing that set in was like we beat the number 1 seed. So I was like, yeah, we're the underdogs. Like everyone's like preying on our downfall. We were supposed to lose that first game and we didn't. Like they underestimated us.
Real quick, Alyssa, going into it, so you guys were a bottom seed then going into that playoff run.
We had a wild, I don't know if we had a wild card or if we were just the last like team to make it, but we were bottom of the barrel in the playoff, right? So I think we had a play-in game and then a playoff game against the number 1 seed, and then we beat them, and it was a crazy like momentum swing for us. And then we just took it game by game, goal by goal, and we had a shutout almost every game except for North Marion when we played here. Which was also like a super crazy game. Like I remember stands being packed, and like we just wanted someone from this valley here, because North Marion's small, we're like somewhat small, but like we're both brown, so we were like, we got this. Like I have club teammates that I grew up playing with, and I was like, no matter what, like I hope you win and they hope we win, or like vice versa, right? We're just rooting for each other, and we're like, good game. Like we left all our friendships on the side and we like fought hard that day, and then we're like, okay, whoever wins, like good luck on Saturday. Saturday rolled around, and I remember I was always injured, but I had to get my ankle wrapped and my thigh wrapped. And then I remember my best friend, like we would always jokingly say like, oh, we're gonna win state this year, like I can't wait for us to win state this year. And that's something like we had always said leading up to it. So then when we woke up that day, we were like, hey, we're gonna win today. And she was like, yeah, we're gonna win. And we like got on the bus. I forgot my cleats, dude. That's everyone's worst nightmare. And I was like,
you know, so funny that I feel like también something like that you'd overthink. You're like, oh, this is a sign. This is a sign.
Yeah, no, because I set my uniform aside. I set my stuff that I was going to warm up in. I knew how I was going to braid my hair. And then I get on the bus, and then coach was like,
real quick, the braiding the hair, was it for comfort or for looks?
Just for looks, because I had really bad like baby hair, so I just keep it out of my face. But
for the style, huh?
Yeah, so I would do it, and then freaking my coach was like, okay, everyone have shoes, shin guards, and I was like,
please.
I was like, no. I called my brother and I was like, hey, can you bring my cleats? And he was like, bro.
And that was in Hillsborough, no?
Yeah, so we were right here in the parking lot. And I was like, can you bring me my cleats? So he's like, yeah, whatever. So he brought my cleats, and Bus didn't leave until they brought me my cleats. And then the really cool thing is like they do a send off before. So everyone was lined up on the streets, and my club teammates and parents and stuff were all there, and like the community just like really rallied for us, because it's the girls game and then the guys game. And we're like, all right, like we have to do our part first. So
set the tone.
The guys like, you know, have a chance, and like we're gonna make history, right? We all said it, like we're gonna make history. We are making history. And then we did it. So
no, that's awesome, Alyssa. Y también one thing about that, would you say, obviously I go to imagine, was that your most favorite memory of your high school career?
Yes and no, because I don't think I have like a greatest memory. Like I would have thought that senior night would have been my favoriteest memory, but I had a lot of like family stuff going on, so my parents like couldn't be here, but my uncle showed up for me and my cousin showed up for me, and that was really nice because it was during COVID and stuff. But I carry like a lot of guilt because like my grandpa was passing, so I was like, I never got to say goodbye, and like I always thought that would be my greatest memory, and it wasn't. So I like think about the championship and how like cool it was to get to do it alongside like teammates and obviously people from our community. But I think it never really hit me. It was like in the moment kind of thing where I was like super giddy and happy.
Yeah.
And then after the game was over, I was like, okay, the boys are gonna do it. And then like my not like my happiness ended, but it was just like I never really learned how to celebrate myself. So I was just like, oh, good job, team. But I never thought like, oh, like about myself.
Yeah. No, and honestly, that sucks, Alyssa. Obviously, we've had this conversation plenty of times. I think I see it too much people that like, you're so anxious of such a big moment that when it happens, even if it goes in your favor and you win, that you're not living in the now. Because I feel like you get this whole emotions that you're kind of like, oh man, I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to get there. And like I said, like you get there and you're kind of like, oh man, it's not what I thought the feeling was going to be. Pero, like I said, I don't know about you, but I always feel like también it's about making sure to celebrate every little moment.
Yeah.
Like I feel like también, people get to the finals and be like, oh man, we lost. That means we didn't accomplish anything. When in our reality, it's hard. Obviously, you've seen it with what we've been doing, Alyssa. It's hard to get there. So like, encouraging kids to always celebrate the small things in life. Hey, you had a good game. Hey, celebrate the good game. Celebrate, you had a bad game. It's not that big of a deal. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Pero, all right, Alyssa, transitioning in from your playing career now into your coaching career. Let's say, how long have you been coaching for now?
Like 4 or 5-ish years.
4 or 5 years. I know, amazing, and pleasure coaching with me for going 2.5 years now. For someone who played, because believe it or not, people who are watching, I played 1 year of club soccer, played 0 years of high school soccer. So, I always give that perspective. You who came from actual playing, you grew up playing since you were 4. How did you see the transition? Was it an easy transition? And how did you get your foot in the door of coaching?
Yeah, I think it was like pretty natural, I'd say. Like I did feel weird, but it wasn't anything out of the ordinary because I was like a vocal leader the last couple years that I was playing, and that's something that like my high school coach helped me find and help me point out. But she was like honestly, when she like named me captain was when I was like, okay, I need to step into this role. And she was like, no, like it's natural, like you natural leader. Yeah, like you're just like you set the tone, like you lead by example. And she was just like, you got this. Like she honestly, I feel like she didn't have any doubt in me, and if she did, like she never showed it. And that's something I'm like super grateful for, and I hope I do the same for my athletes thing. But she like really just pushed me, like got me out there. I remember her texting me saying like, hey, I have a Nike camp coming up, and she was like, I'd love to have you there. And I was like, oh, like actually? She's like, yeah, like I can't think of anyone better. And this was a coaching camp, no? Awesome. Yeah, in Portland for like U of P. I think Nike does it at U of P. And she's like, yeah, we'll carpool. She's like, it's going to be me, Brennan, my other high school coach. She's like, a couple other friends, and then Natalie. And I was like, yeah, Matt's going, I'll go. And then she's like, yeah, like we'd love to have you guys there. Like I'll pick you up around, I think it was like 7 because we had to be there at 8. Or honestly like 6:30 because we had to beat traffic, but it was like an all-day thing. And she was like, yeah, it's like for a week, you get paid pretty good. And I was like, I don't even care about the split. Like I was just like, if you thought of me, like why not? And doesn't that make it special too? Like I mean, like I said, I know for you, Alyssa, because I know you, pero también like for me, I never do anything to get any type of credit. But like when people think of you or like compliment you or think highly of you like that, like it makes you feel like you must be doing something right. So I was like, okay, why not? And I always thought about like, I never want to let people down. And that's maybe not the best way to think about things, because like you should be doing things for yourself. Like if you want to do good, do it out of the kindness of your heart, not just because like you're gonna get something out of it.
Yeah.
But I think naturally like it's fulfilling and rewarding, and just like knowing you're doing something good like feels really good. Yeah, she just like pulled me in, and then it started with the Nike camps, and then
transition to
like volunteering
JV
here, because she was like yeah, like we're doing summer kick arounds, like you know the drill. You know the drills like as a player. She's like, now like I'd love to have you as an example. I was like, okay, cool. So it'd be me, my cousin, and then sometimes like my best friend or whatever other, I don't know, honestly it was just me and my cousin that she like really pulled up. But I was like, I'll go if you go, and then we would both go, and then I think like just being a little bit louder helped. Started volunteering, and then she was like, hey, like I have a JV position opening up, like if you want to take it. I was like, thank you for thinking of me. And I was like, well, if I get the job, I'll do it. And then I got the job, and then following year the assistant had to step down because she had a couple other things going on. She was like, I think Alyssa would be a great fit. And then Whiteman was like, yeah, like I agree. And she talked to me a little bit about it, and I was so scared. I still have like a journal entry from that day where I was like, Whiteman just asked me to be the assistant varsity coach, and I was like, that's crazy to me, because I started as her player. I was like, I started as her player her first year coaching here, and now like I get to be her right hand. And she showed me like the ins and outs, and I was like, really, like this is what I want to do.
And not for nothing, also too, one thing that I always see too is like sometimes when you're coaching, especially at the teenage levels, you don't know that at the same time you're mentoring these kids, and you don't know that sometimes it is a full circle moment, like obviously that you've had. And then also, you know, I'm assuming this was around the same time you started coaching the boys también, no?
Yeah, when I started,
you want to let everybody know what age group you coach with boys?
They're U11 now.
And you started when they were U9. Yeah. How did you? What did you think at first? Like obviously starting with these boys. Like, well, obviously.
I was so scared.
Yeah. Real quick. Obviously, we've had this conversation, and I know, like, I'm sure people are going to see it. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't that way. But a veces there's that stigma, right? Where you boys, you know, if they see a girl coach, they right away be like, oh, well, she's gonna teach him. And I hate that, because for me, like, you know this, Alyssa, because you've seen me, but for me, I've always been like, sports doesn't have a gender. If you could coach it, you could play, or you could coach, right? Obviously I credit, you know, seeing my sister growing up playing with boys all the time, you know, at girls that used to beat me in track all the time, you know. So seeing it now, I remember, you know, obviously when I thought about you, I was like, man, like, she's tough, pero también I know, you know, she brings so much knowledge to the game. So honestly, when you came in, Alyssa, I thought it was amazing for these boys, and like say, obviously this journey that we're on, like it's amazing too, because like I said, it helps too, like for me, seeing you out there, being one of the only like female coaches in tournaments and leagues on a boys team, I think it speaks volumes for itself.
Did you hear the ref this last game? He was like, he comes up to me, he's like, you're the team manager?
No, he did.
Yeah, he asked me and Tita were right there. And then Tita was like, oh, it's me. And I was like, oh, okay.
And they're like, are you the other team manager? Or but going back to that, Alyssa, what were you thinking? Like, honestly, in the beginning, like when you said you were nervous? I
was so scared. Yeah, I was like, I don't know how they're going to respond. Like, obviously, I've done, like, the coaching camps in Portland were mixed, so it was boys and girls. And I remember the boys were super excited because we talked about experience, and I didn't have any like prior coaching experience. Like I would kick around and stuff with friends, and like I remember we'd give each other feedback, or like, oh, what would coach say, and stuff like that. And then when we transitioned there, I remember one of the questions was, how much experience do you have? So I was like, I have 13 years of playing experience, and all the kids were like, like, wow, we're so lucky to have her, you know. And when we transitioned with the boys, I was like, no, they're all gonna think I suck, or like, I don't know. I was just like, what are the dads gonna say too? Because that's the like stigma around here is like, we have a lot of machista dads, and I don't know, like I want to change their mind, but I know I don't have anything to prove. Like, I know what I bring to the table, and obviously you saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and like I never would have thought I'd coach boys. I always thought like I'd coach girls. And I don't know if it was like the first practice or what when you were introducing me, but I remember one of the boys, you know, just looking me up
like,
and
she's
down.
A girl.
For real, yeah.
Oh,
no,
man.
they literally just like looked me up and down, and I was like, you know, like I was just like looking at you, like I'll follow your lead. And I think it was super cool, like that you really set the tone with these boys and set the expectations very, very clear. Where, like she's your coach, right? She's not a girl. Like she's your coach. Yep.
And look at you, you've been knocking it out of the park, Alyssa. Like these boys, the rapport you have with these boys, obviously you'll see it throughout the seasons too. Like it's super amazing. Going into the coaching, Alyssa, obviously knowing that you coach high school girls and you coach elementary boys, what are some similarities and differences that you see? And do you, like, I guess more similarities, do you see them very familiar or just complete opposite?
I guess they're similar in like the sense that they're both athletes, but the way that they approach things is very different. Like the boys are very, like naturally very, very competitive. Yeah. And like the camaraderie with the boys is like, you know, with like, I guess with little kids, it's a lot easier because, you know, when you're like, do you want to be my friend? Yeah. And they're like, yeah. And
no, boys, the interactions one will fart and all of them will laugh.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
No, yeah, but with the girls, it's like, it's kind of hard, or it's challenging to get them to like interact with each other if they don't know each other. They're just like, unless they're like super extroverted, but that's like 1 out of 20 maybe. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's harder to get girls out of their shell. And like to see themselves in a positive light, because I think this is a time where girls go through like body image issues and like boyfriends and like boy problems, and with the boys, like they haven't, like some of them talk about girls, but it's not like a common topic at practice. With the girls,
our boys get terrified when they talk about girls.
No, the girls will be like talking about, oh, like so and so said this, what do you think he means? Or I'm like, dude, you're at soccer practice, why do you think about boys? Or, you know, the things they wear, like for the boys, or it's so cool to go to the bathroom and like meet up with a boy. I'm like, you're supposed to be at practice, let's go. And the boys, like I'm like, oh, you guys still going practice? Or like when we joke about like girls and stuff, they're like, what? No. But
it's same sport, different culture, huh? Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, obviously, like I said, también amazing experiences that you had with both.
For both, yeah.
As looking at coaching, Alyssa, obviously you've been doing it, you said, for about 4 years now, right? I've been doing it for 6. Is there any coaches or teachers, mentors that you look back? I know you mentioned your uncle previously, but anybody who kind of helped you, like, well, yeah, mostly coach, pero también that have been a huge impact in you, in your life?
For sure. Well, I feel like all of them brought their own set of things for me, and I truly believe, like, everybody makes an impact no matter like how small, but like you never know what you learn. So I had like a bunch of coaches because I was multi-sport athlete, so I had like I grew up doing soccer and taekwondo. I had only had 2 coaches up until taekwondo, so it was Wapel, who's now my padrino, and then my uncle. And Wapel showed me like passion, right? He would like yell at us and really hold us accountable, and he was like I yell at you because he was like, I yell at you because I care about you and I know what you're capable of and you're not pushing yourself. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And yeah, I remember like like it's funny seeing Hercules like you know, give those like you should have done it better, you know.
Shucks.
And then my uncle taught me like discipline, and I think I didn't really like see myself in a good light until high school with white men, obviously, because she like, I remember the first time like she talked about making varsity, you know, she talked about like the expectations, and I'd already had like a really good work ethic, And it was only me and my best friend that made varsity our freshman year. And she was like, hey, like, nothing's ever given to you, so you're gonna earn this playing time. She's like, you're not promised anything. And I was like, yeah. And I remember telling my mom, and my mom was like, oh, that. And she was like, why would you say that? No, like, I see it as a good thing, Mom. Like, she pulled me up for a reason, and like, it's up to me whether I step up or I let that break me. And she was like, yeah. And then me and my best friend were like, we're gonna
in the right way now.
Yeah. And then my junior year, and then obviously her assistant was like super, super giddy. Like, they both did CrossFit, so one was like really, really tough, and then the other one was like, it doesn't have to be fun to be fun. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. But she was like super swole, and I was like, damn, we all wanted to look like her. Yeah. And then we're like, okay, like, obviously she's doing something right. And then my junior year, Rico Casaboni, we connected really well. The first day I met him here, he was like, hey, like, how's it going? What's your name? I'm Rico, whatever. And I was like, oh, cool, nice to meet you. And then, like, I was just like, he's another coach. And that was the first male coach I had since, like, Whiteman came into the program again. And then I don't even know what. I think it was just like we ended warm-ups, and then he like kicked a ball out, and he was like, all right, who's gonna see, or let's see who can kick the ball like the closest to that ball. He's like, who's gonna challenge me? And he goes, and then I was like, I'll go. Yeah. And then I did it, and then he's like, you know, I feel like after that we really connected, and then we would do like check-ins, like we'd see each other in the halls, hey, how are you doing? And I was like, good. And he was like, no, but like, how are you really doing? And I was like, well, and like we'd sit and talk for hours and hours. And
but not for nothing, that's huge, Alyssa, too, because it's you know, obviously when you're that teenage years, obviously kids want to be heard. And then even something as simple as a check-in means the world, you know, because sometimes there's kids that are having a lot of issues and don't know how to communicate it. So when they find comfort in a mentor, coach, teacher, like it means the world too, because it allows them to feel that comfort that sometimes they just don't have in many places. I remember like just feeling seen, like someone actually cares about my well-being, but he like was invested in other people's lives. And no, and that's huge, Alyssa. Very huge, porque también I tell Lori, like, Lori and I have been together since we were 13, and looking back at, you know, how old we are now, you know, she always tells me, like, damn, all the issues that were going on, I didn't even know. I was like, yeah, because I didn't know how to communicate it. I had a teacher named Miss Ruffalo. I don't know if she's still at the high school, but she did such a good job of always checking in on me. Like, I don't know if she knew something was wrong or if she was really good at comforting people, pero también being able to like find comfort there to kind of, like I said, obviously a lot of kids don't know how to communicate when they're having a bad day, and being able to have someone that's not necessarily checking in on you to force you to open up, but just letting you know, like, hey, you can. I'm here for you if you need it. And just like even having that, you know, even if you don't choose to open up that day, but knowing that you have it there, then it brings a whole nother level.
He just was really good at making people feel seen and valued, and I think that's something that like I try to do, but it's like really out of my comfort zone, because I used to be really extroverted and annoying, and I feel like after COVID, like I really cut myself off, and then I didn't really know how to like interact with people anymore. But obviously, like being around athletes was like natural, because that's what I did growing up. But
no, and that's a big part, Alyssa. Obviously, we've had this conversation several times of I feel like that's the behind the scenes that people don't see once it comes to coaching. I know I'm going to butcher the quote, but obviously I'm sure you've heard it, that you may not remember what they said or how they said it, but it's how they made you feel. Something like that. Yeah. And it's true, porque también, you know, like I said, there's some coaches that are very well communicating that make you feel, like you were saying, seen, make you feel like you run through a brick wall. And like I said, that's something that you can't put on paper, and it just naturally comes. And, you know, that's something that people from the outside sometimes just don't see. Varsity head coach, first year. What are your expectations and what are the goals for this first year of coaching?
My big goals, like obviously to win, but I think just like fostering those connections, like making it a place where like people want to show up and people want to work hard.
They want to be part of the program.
Yeah, because that's one thing that like happened my junior year. We like really clicked and found connection, and even though there were like some awkward situations and like a lot of tension, I feel like we like just pushed through, and obviously like we won, but it wasn't like because we had set out the intention like, oh, we're gonna win state. It was just like doing the little things right, and
the natural bond that happened.
Yeah, and then just like rooting for each other. Yeah, like it was really special. But I think my big goals, like just finding connections, like I want to build their confidence, because the sky is like the limit for them. Like you set these limits on yourself, right? If you say like, oh, I'm only gonna do 10 passes, and like that's the only goal you set for yourself, like you chip away at like the insecurities and you set those aside, and you just like you fall in love with the grind, and hard work really does pay off. And I remember I was kicking around today with my cousin, and we were talking and laughing because obviously her dad was a coach, so he had like equipment, and we would walk from one end of town to the other to go get my best friend and her best friend, and we would come back to the high school with stupid our backpacks full of like flags and balls, and we're just like having the time of our lives. Fun. Yeah, and like we didn't have that goal, right? But it was just like those things like just get you one step closer to like what you don't even know you're capable of. But just teaching them that they don't have limits. Like as long as you don't set any, like you can literally do anything that you set your mind to.
Yeah, and one thing too, Alyssa, God willing, this episode should be releasing right at the start of your guys' season. For any of your players that are watching right now, or families of the players, what is one thing that you want them to know about you?
Like, I will never count you out unless you count yourself out. So like literally just like you say it all the time, right? Take a chance on yourself. And
it's scary, huh?
Yeah, like don't you always say it. What do you say? Give yourself a chance to fail. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's exactly what we're trying to do at practice, is like be creative. Like don't be afraid of looking silly. Just try, and like that's how you learn. Like, oh, it didn't work this way, let me try it another way. Oh, it didn't work this way. Like you know what you need to tweak and what isn't working, and like by giving yourself chances to,
you're only going to learn by failing. Yeah,
like not like you don't learn anything from winning, but like that's the sweet reward of like picking yourself up and going. And I think just like positive affirmations, like really encouraging each other, you just create this culture of like where you just learn to like care about each other and like push each other, make yourself better. And you don't even know, like I think it's crazy that you don't even know like how far you've come, because in high school, like I remember obviously we talked about going from one end to the other and like hang out with friends all day, but like we didn't even know how fit we were until now.
Until you see it now.
And we're like, dang, we were doing all these crazy things we didn't even know.
Last thing, I know you don't have a child. If you could look back... What do you mean?
I have...
you have a bunch of little kids on the team. If you could look back at 4-year-old Alyssa, who's about to start her soccer journey, what's one thing that you would want to tell her?
I wish, like, I appreciated myself and, like, gave myself credit, because to this day, like, I literally have a text from my mentor who was like, I texted him and I was like, I finally feel like I'm doing something right. And he was like, give yourself more credit. And it's always been like the recurring thing in my life is like you are so amazing, but you don't see it. And I think that's really hard for athletes. Is like,
really, really hard.
Like imposter syndrome and like, And you almost feel like what you're doing isn't good enough. But I don't know, now I'm here.
Right.
So
It's like you get that feeling of never feeling complete, which can be very, very dangerous. All right, Alyssa, that's the wrap for our interview. Like I was saying, I really appreciate you coming as the first guest. There's no one I would have asked to be the first guest on the show other than yourself. Everything that we've done together means the world to me. Obviously, 2.5 years of coaching, we get the best out of each other, and I'm really proud of everything you're going to accomplish, Alyssa, and I'm very, very excited. I feel like I've seen you grow for not only with the boys but with the girls, and I'm really excited to see that you continue to flourish, especially with this high school season coming up. I know you're going to do amazing things, and I know that you're going to prove a lot of doubters wrong, and your girls are going to naturally see the amazing coach that you are, how much you care about them, the passion, the consistency you show up, and they're going to see the special coach that I see, that I get the pleasure of seeing, and not only myself but the coaches that we have and players that we have. They see it in week by week every year. So like I said, hey, I wish you the best of luck, Alyssa. I know you guys are going to do amazing. I'm excited. I got my tickets on SeatGeek already. If you can, send me a coupon code for favor. Pero no, thank you, Alyssa. I appreciate your time.
yeah, thank you.
Anything you want to say to Coaching with Marco or anybody on YouTube?
Follow the boys page.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
Here's the link for the boys page and my page, Coaching with Marco, and yours page or no?
And the Woodburn Girls Soccer program.
And Woodburn Girls Soccer. Like she's gonna put the Woodburn Girls Soccer there. But all right, Alyssa, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.